Hello!
Hey!
Hey, today on Deskpop we're talking about Guns Akimbo. It's controversial. We fight about it. The PlayStation 5 DualSense Controller. Controversial as well. We fight about that too.
Can we get three
talk
for
about
three?
Holidays. Talk about holidays and we fight about those too. We also have a very cordial discussion about the potential Nintendo Mario HD
Nintendo
remaster.
Mario HD.
There's no. Yes,
Sounds like an
Nintendo's
eBay item
Mario.
listing. Nintendo Mario 1990s retro plushie. Rare.
Mint condition. All right. Well, this is Deskpop.
Hello.
Howdy.
It's your two favorite
Mediocre
with another-
podcast hosts.
This is episode 48 of Deskpop.
Yeah, views are down because everyone's staying at home or listens are down. But, that's true with most podcasts right now. And the market is becoming even more saturated as people create them from their own homes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we keep telling ourselves. That's what's everyone's too busy listening to their own podcast to listen to ours,
Yeah.
but that's fine because we'll be here.
We'll be here.
We'll always be here. We're like what?
Share
what is
and
it?
cockroaches.
What?
Share and cockroaches.
Okay.
Those two things that are timeless and will always remain in this earth.
Okay. Sharing and cockroaches.
Share and cockroaches. Not
No,
sharing.
I think sharing will outlast share.
Don't you straight wash my statement.
Damn.
But yeah.
How have you been?
I've been all right. Like I told you, I about an hour ago was pulling glass shards out of my foot, so that was fun.
That's just something to do if you have any spare glasses around the house and you need 2 or 3 hours to kill. Just chunk it at your foot as hard as you can.
Yeah, and play Boy Scout and do your first aid regimen to your own foot. That's fun. Trying to get the glass out of your foot. I would recommend it.
It's like Operation, but
Yeah.
in this case, like if you mess up, you can't really go to the emergency room.
Yeah, and you feel real pain, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
How are you, Andy? What's up?
I'm doing okay. It's Easter right now
It
when
is.
we're recording.
He is
It
risen.
won't be when you're listening later, but
Unless you listen next
just-
year on Easter.
on Easter. Yeah, the family gets together to listen to the Easter episode of Deskpop.
Oh, the timeless
every year.
tradition.
Yeah, it's like us, Charlie Brown Christmas special, the two things.
Yes.
I woke up this
People watch
morning.
that on Easter.
Yeah. What other is there a Charlie Brown Easter
I don't
special?
know.
I don't think there is. There probably is, honestly. I need to look this up. But there's a Halloween special.
There is.
I woke up this morning to a loud banging on my front door.
Oh.
So I rose out of my bed and I had to put clothes on. I haven't. Yeah, I'm not gonna jump into that, but I wore clothes.
You're naked right now. It's
And-
fine.
And I walked over to the door and I opened it up cautiously.
Yeah.
And it was my mom
Oh.
in full Easter getup.
Like what kind of get up? Was she in like an
the
Easter bunny suit?
Yeah, she was in bunny suit.
Okay, great.
No, she was. It looked like she was like, "Oh, we're gonna go eat at a fancy restaurant or something."
Yeah.
But she was wearing latex gloves, and she had left this huge crate. Those like big plastic crates you put your stuff in whenever you're like putting things in the attic or you're moving out. You get those big like bins. Well, she had one of those huge bins at my doorstep filled with like toys and Easter
Aw,
stuff.
What a loving mother.
and amongst them was a carbon monoxide alarm,
Aww.
a hand sanitizer,
Yeah.
and a box of latex gloves.
How sweet.
So that was my Easter treat. I can't really interact with any of them yet because I want to wait until
You wait the 2 days.
I need to wait the 2 to 3 days for the virus to die on the surface of all the objects that are in there. But when it does, I'm looking forward to messing with all that stuff.
Aw.
Yeah, so yeah, we got water guns. I got a piñata. There's a piñata in there.
I do want to make a special announcement to our listeners. We are, in fact, if you listen, in this episode, we've hidden sound effects of eggs. So it's like an audio Easter egg hunt. So definitely listen very carefully. See if you can find all the eggs. Okay, continue, Andy.
Yeah, so boing. Oh, there is one.
Oh, wow. One already.
So that was my morning.
Uh-huh.
Then I went to Walmart later in the day, and I had to wait an hour and a half for them to come out with my groceries.
Yeah.
And that's not an interesting thing.
No.
But that's just when we listen back years from now, we're going to be like, because that's how things were.
That's how things were in the.
That's just how things were.
In the pandemic.
I guess the last thing I'll say before I'm kind of wrapped up with my how I am. How am I? I took your advice finally. I saw Guns Akimbo.
Yes.
And you're on thin ice, buddy. The stock in Bryan's movie suggestions has plummeted to an all-time low right now.
Interesting.
But we'll have to see how future suggestions go. But yeah, that movie was not. I was not a fan of that movie.
Interesting.
The premise was really interesting, but there was just way too many whoa, I'm a gamer and looking away from my screen, the graphics are so high definition.
I thought that was it was done in a way that I thought it was funny because I knew it was mostly self-aware of what it was saying. It didn't seem to be one of those movies that was
it was ironically said and not intentionally said to appeal to gamers.
I don't think it was meant to appeal to gamers. I think that that's something you're reading into. I think that that's just the premise of it, and that was what the tone that they decided to speak with it. But I don't think that the audience is people who play games to watch that movie. Yeah,
that was there were just lots of jokes like that where it was what was it? One guy dies and he's like, whoa, there's no respawns with that guy.
Yeah.
Am I right? And yeah, it was just also the people I watched it with were highly critical of it too. So
that's fun.
within the first 5 minutes of the film, it was already decided by the community that we were not going to like it. So
I'm glad you gave it a chance.
To be fair, the level of the rate of jokes that it made, even if I was I like it, the jokes just they just kept going.
Yeah, and no, the thing about it that I think I liked the most was the the visuals, the colors that they used, and those kinds of things. That was the thing I enjoyed the most. It wasn't I didn't think it was smart dialogue or anything like that. I just enjoyed it.
The visuals of whenever he fires a gun, you see the bullet go down.
Yeah.
The bullet count went that was neat, but yeah, it was okay. And by okay, I mean on my ratings board, it's the bottom. But I haven't seen a lot of movies this year. I think I've only seen maybe 20. Yeah. So
no, I enjoyed it a lot. I think it was it's a fun what's the word? It would have been a fun thing to see in theaters because I feel like it's one of those popcorn action movies. But it's the visual aspect is interesting enough to me to keep me watching it. Whereas most action movies are just they're kind of bland. They're very drab color palettes and explosions, and I'm not into that.
It's all a lot of one note
stuff. Right.
This is like the biggest compliment I can give it is that the gimmick alone, like, you should see the movie at least once. I'll never see it again, but the gimmick alone was like, okay, I have to. He has guns for hands. I have to see it.
I will say I would have more respect if you just didn't like it, but like hearing that you watched it with a group and then they were the ones that kind of dictated. I mean, not to say you can't make your own opinion and you didn't like it for your own merit, but watching it with a group of people that didn't like it, I'm a little saddened to hear that.
Well, my reasoning is, so maybe if I saw it I saw it with a bunch of people who had a similar mindset that I had. So anytime they made like a gamer joke, we all read it as like, oh, they're trying to relate to like gamers, or like, oh, LOL, like, oh, this guy's such a troll, oh, I'm a hacker, you know, as and so it's like this.
I mean,
like,
I didn't.
And the visuals don't really kick off until he gets the guns for hands.
Sure. I don't remember there being that many gamer jokes. Like, I just kind of remember glossing over, like, that kind of... I don't know. Those didn't stick with me as much, I guess, as they did you.
Yeah, that was the worst part. And then the rest of it was, like the guy on crack, like, that guy was really funny. I think they really played like every gag you possibly could with having guns for hands.
Yeah.
Which I commend them on. Every time I was like, oh, well, he should try to do this or he should try to do that with guns for hands, they would eventually get to that gag. And I'm like, okay, they didn't waste that premise. But yeah, I think the core idea was just way too good. I would have liked something a little bit more, I don't know. I think that whoever was in charge of the jokes, I think that was like I don't think they did a very good job.
Cool.
But oh well, you know, what a wonderful country we live in, where two people with different opinions can engage in conversation and discuss their differences. You know, what a great country.
Yep.
You know, I respect you and I respect your opinion, and, you know, I would gladly die for you to express your opinions. Free speech.
All right.
Yeah, so if you could put the national anthem in the background there, that'd be great when you're editing.
I will.
Yeah, so
what's that? Another Easter egg?
I'm sorry but I know that I don't think that that's gonna ruin the movie for you, so I'm not.
It's not something that I probably would even like.
Yeah,
I'll watch it again, but it's not my favorite movie of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just surprised me.
Well, that's how I'm doing.
Yeah, okay.
That's how I'm doing. I feel like any other most recommendations you'd have, I probably would like it. I think this one was just a wild. I think this one was just a wild card.
I think we have a pretty different, like, I think the way we enjoy things are very separate. I like to enjoy things by myself a lot of times. So, I don't know. And I also like things like very, there's not always a method to the madness of why I enjoy something. Sometimes it's just like, it'll hit a particular, like, oh, that's kind of interesting, or oh, that's neat. And like, I give it a lot of points for that. So it's not always like, I think this is the most revolutionary film to come out of cinema this year. You should see it. It's just like, oh, I liked the colors a lot. It made me interested. Yeah. You know, like Daniel Radcliffe. It's been a while since I've seen him in anything.
I haven't seen him ever. I've never met him.
Never seen him.
But,
Officer, I've never seen that man in my life.
Look, I just want to, solidify the record that I've never met Daniel Radcliffe.
No.
And I will not be implicated in anything bad he's ever done.
Yes.
I have nothing to do with him. I just want to set my distance now.
You know who I used to have the biggest crush on? I guess I still do.
Ron Weasley?
No. Elijah Wood.
Oh.
Beautiful man.
Okay.
His voice and there's something about him that's so charming.
He's like the Pepsi to Daniel Radcliffe's Coke. It's like...
Oh, I feel totally opposite.
I feel like they both... Oh, I don't mean like he's an alternative too. I just mean those are like the two, like, they're equivalent to each other. Those are the two big... There's not really...
See, I would have taken it that way because I like Pepsi more, but I know, like, coming from you that you're more of a Coke fan. So, like, I was like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, really now?
I used to use the phrase of, like, oh, it's the Pepsi to this is Coke as, like, a way to say this is an alternative
sure.
to. But the first 2 times I've ever used that phrase... People were like, well, I like Pepsi more than Coke. And,
yeah.
and it's like, you understand what I'm saying, but why are you choosing? So I've just given up on trying to use the phrase in that context.
It's a very pointed phrase because especially people know your feelings on the matter. Like, it'd be if I was like, I'm trying to think of something like I don't like as much as something else. I don't know.
Spyro and Crash?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like, I guess if I said that, you would immediately probably think more about why I'm saying it in that order, as me as a person.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's the Crash Bandicoot to this thing Spyro. You'd be like, why? Why is that the Crash Bandicoot? Why do you not like that?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
So
he just has beautiful eyes.
He has very big eyes.
They're beautiful.
He looks like he looks like the Gerber baby, but with
the adult Gerber baby. Yeah, Elijah Wood.
That's what he Have you seen the what is it? The New Zealand Airlines PSA thing that they play on the plane?
No.
Where it's like, the flight safety, put on your seatbelt.
No.
It's like, it went viral and a couple of YouTubers made videos about it, but Elijah Wood's in it. And a lot of people play hobbits, and they're all really small. Like, Elijah Wood is, like, wearing regular clothes, but he's, like, the size of a hobbit, and he's standing next to, like, a regular person.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, make sure that you put on your seatbelt. And it's just really funny. He's just so small.
He is small. And that's another weird thing. I'm like, I don't like dating people that are shorter than me. That's that's one thing. But something about Elijah Wood, I would date him. Sorry, Aaron.
Oh, okay. I thought that was leaning towards just an overall bias of short people, but you just haven't met the right short person.
Well, my boyfriend's about the same height as me, so no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm not in the market unless you're Elijah Wood. We can have a throuple.
Elijah Wood's like, yeah, I only date people who are shorter than me. So
man, so there's only like one person in the entire world you could date.
Wow. It turned into like, yeah, I really like Elijah Wood. Let's just roast him for a few seconds and then move on.
I mean, I didn't call him a Gerber baby. So
hey, some people think babies are cute. I don't, but
I'm not in the market to date a baby. Sorry.
Isn't there a baby on the cover of a? This is a weird question, but isn't there a brand of butter that uses a baby as a mascot on its packaging?
Baby butter.
Okay, whenever I think of,
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Oh, because I thought whenever I said Gerber baby, my brain immediately jumped to butter.
Butter baby.
I don't know.
Baby butter for your buttered baby.
I feel violated. I trusted you. You were like, oh yeah, that's a brand, and
I feel do violated. It again too.
I don't like that.
Picking that glass out of my foot has changed me. I'm more sinister
I can't
now.
elaborate on that.
Anyway.
Yeah, so let's talk about this PlayStation controller.
Oh, it's sexy. It is beautiful. That is,
This is
the heft of it is, like, I haven't even held it and looking at it. I want it in my hand. It's so wonderful.
I think this is going to be one of those episodes.
Do you have a strong opposite opinion?
Okay, it's not strong. The only thing that I don't like about it is it looks comfortable, but it's just the colors. I don't like the dual colors.
We could just call this episode Bryan and Andy Fight for an Hour. No, it's okay. So I will be clear.
I'm so glad we're recording remotely. Otherwise, if you were here right now,
I would be fucking across the table right now, wringing your neck. No, it's not the color that I like. I will say. The color,
everything else I like about it.
The color
it's
is fine. It is not an affront to me. Like, it doesn't bother me, but I also don't love it. I kind of wish it was solid one color, or at least like more like two-tone of the same color. I think that would be cool. But the thing about it that I don't like right off the bat is that the fucking bumpers. There's nothing to change that when I set down the controller, when I'm watching something, when I'm watching Netflix or YouTube or something, when I set it down, it's going to fucking fast forward every fucking time. And there is no change to this product design that will prevent that. And that is so frustrating.
I'm trying to figure out how that would work in my head. And I feel like if you set the controller down and then you nudged it a little bit, it would fast forward.
No, Andy. I don't know how to describe this problem to you. I recently, when I was looking at the controller and people like writing their thoughts on it, people were saying like, "Great, I'm glad to see that this won't fix that same issue." And I was like, "This is this is reinforcing my beliefs right now, like that other people have this problem."
I need to.
If you set it down in the slightest wrong way, you don't have to set it down and like it's just the tiniest angle that you put it down on, it'll start fast forwarding or rewinding.
Oh, that's frustrating.
It's so frustrating.
I've never really watched media on my PlayStation. So
right.
I didn't even know about that.
It's not my primary place to watch things, but there are occasions I'll watch Netflix or something.
It really, it's neat that it has a Blu-ray player, and I've always said, when the apocalypse happens and the internet goes down, I'll be able to watch my Blu-rays on my PlayStation, and that day has not happened yet.
Yep.
But I will keep that in mind when if the PlayStation 5 doesn't come out before the 4 when the internet.
What was that stops. Game? The Detroit.
Detroit Become Human.
The color scheme kind of reminds me of that, just the white and the black.
Yeah.
And the blue.
I think it's really neat that they're trying to do a multicolored thing, because I think a lot of game consoles, specifically PlayStation and Xbox, they're always very conservative, where it's like our controllers will be mono black or mono white. Yeah. And then Nintendo's like, whoa, half of our console's going to be blue and the other half's going to be red. And I really like that.
Yeah.
And so I like PlayStation is trying something a little out there, but like the configuration of like where the black... It looks like a pair of overalls, and I can't not unsee it. And I think if the buttons of the D-pad and the triangle, square, circle, and X buttons, if those were also black and it incorporated that there, I feel like that would kind of fix it for me.
I really like... So that's the part I like, is the buttons. If you look at the side view, the side profile of the controller... they're clearly raised, but from a top-down view, they look flush with the rest of the white, which I think is really neat. If you look at the button close, the bottom part of the button is like where it lines up with the controller is white, and then the part that protrudes on top is clear, which I really think is a nice little detail, and I love that. But I agree, I kind of wish it was... there was some better tie-in with the colors. It wasn't just like color blocked and separate. And I think that they could have done something with the PlayStation logo. Like maybe they could have made that white. Maybe they could have maybe they could have incorporated some other things into it instead of just this like divided looking controller. But.
Yeah. I'm just happy that, I mean, overall it looks like it's a step closer to the Xbox controller, in terms of shape, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I like the PlayStation 4 controller, but I like the Xbox One. The only good thing I like about Xbox is that they know how to make a controller, and I'm glad that PlayStation is moving towards that direction.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that they're getting rid of the fucking flashlight that they taped to the end of the control. Because, like, when I'm playing games with all the lights off, there's this big flashing light on my, like, down there, and I hate it. And you can't turn it off. You have to, like, you can dim it,
and
but
change,
you can't
change the color, but yeah, you can't.
Yeah, you cannot turn it off, and it's so frustrating, and I'm so glad that they've done away with it, and now there are these, like, 2 subtle lines on the sides of the touchpad.
I don't know if it's 2 lines, though. I think, like, the interpretation I see from this is that that'll be, like, the resting spot, is, like, the 2 kind of sides, but I have a feeling that it looks like that light could go around that entire like rectangular shape or trapezoidal shape, like on the bottom right above the speaker and in the back right above the charge port. So I have a feeling they're going to do some neat things where the line can, like, you know, maybe it could be a health bar, maybe it could do some things that are, I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential for that. I hope you know, game devs
that's not a bad
that.
thing in my opinion.
Sure,
I think as long as there's not, like, this big neon bright light on the, I always have to put my controller under a blanket or something whenever I play.
I agree.
Especially if it causes screen glare, because that happens a lot.
I don't usually have that issue. I always thought it was, like, I get it. I get why it is a thing, but I just never liked it. I thought it was a little gaudy.
I don't understand why because it's like, oh, we can use the camera to track the position of the controller for motion, but 99% of the time you're not using the camera for motion, so why does the light even need to be on?
Right. I agree.
It's just, yeah. But yeah, I think PlayStation, at least with the PlayStation 3, I'm not aware of what they did with the 4, but with 3 they released that, like, now iconic boomerang controller, and they were like, this is our controller, and everyone ragged it, and then they made, like, a regular controller. I'm curious if this is.
I don't remember that. I didn't have a PS3. I skipped it. I went to a PS4.
You should, on your phone or Google or whatever, just type in PlayStation 3 boomerang controller, and they released that monstrosity, and they said that was going to be.
I do remember. God, what a nightmare!
They said that was going to be the next controller.
That's so fucking
Everybody
ugly.
got upset, and they changed it.
Yeah. And
I'm curious if, because there's no. I think there's, like, I think an account came out this morning. I think it was a developer who said that they got to hold the controller, but in the promo videos, you don't see anyone handling it.
Right.
So I'm curious, like, did they even manufacture this, or is this just like a concept product? Maybe they'll change it before launch.
I have a feeling things will change before launch. I have a feeling they probably have some prototypes, like, you know, not like maybe fully fledged working pieces, but I feel like they would have the ability to craft these pieces, whether they 3D print them or something, to just assemble it. So I think that's a real possibility.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember when they announced the Wii U, they showed off the gamepad, and both the analog sticks had, like, the 3DS sliders.
Yeah.
And then I remember looking at that being like, oh, that's interesting. And then on release day, I was like, oh, they're analog sticks now. That's weird.
Yeah, things certainly change. I think, too, if there was a large, like, hey, we want this or we don't want this, and, like, it was a concerted effort by everyone, then I think they might change something. So we'll see. I have a feeling that it'll be kind of, this is a very safe, and I'm not talking about the color, I'm just talking about the design. This is a very safe design, and I like it. This is the controller that I would want to hold. This is something that I think would work for me. Size wise, and, like, I don't know.
I'm looking forward to other color variations, but it looks okay.
Yeah, it is strange to me that this is the, I mean, at this point, this is all we're working off of, but this white and black one is the base model, I guess. Like, that's this seems like it would work more as I don't know, like a special edition kind of thing, and then like
Yeah, it reminds me of like a day one edition of,
sure,
I got the day one, so it's a white with a black accent.
Right.
But
I don't know. I would like to see some that are monochromatic. I don't want them all to be two-tone. I don't want them to say like, well, this is what we do, and they're all two-tone. Like,
that's like their new phrase.
But yeah, I don't know. So it says, traditionally our base controllers have a single color. As you can see, we went with a different direction this time around and decided on a two-tone design. But yeah.
It's really funny how Xbox had a Inside Xbox, which is basically like a Nintendo Direct for Xbox.
Uh-huh.
And I think several minutes or a few hours before they launched that, PlayStation released that press briefing thing with their controller and stuff.
Oh, really?
Like right before Xbox went out and started talking about their announcements. And I'm in the mindset that, I mean, obviously it was calculated. I don't let's release a picture of our controller. I don't know.
Sure.
I just think that's really funny how the console wars, it's not like a out in your face battle now. It's more of like this passive aggressive, oh, we're going to release a picture of our new controller right before Xbox does like announces some DLC.
That always is just so exhausting to me, because it's like I don't even want to get into this, but I hate people feeling some sort of superiority because they have a specific console or whatever. I know it is like some part of human nature, or at least American culture, to like pick a side, so to speak, and like really cheer for your side and like want them to win and want the other team or whatever to be worse. But it is just, I hate that. I absolutely like, just whatever. Like, you can simultaneously own both of these. You can own an Xbox and a PlayStation at the same time, and it's fine. The world will be all right.
It reminds me of like the PlayStation fans are kind of like part of it is it's a big meme, because anytime PlayStation announces we're porting this game to PC, or Detroit's coming to PC.
Sure.
I think Horizon Zero Dawn is going to PC. Death Stranding already is getting a PC port. The PlayStation fans freak out, and they're like, oh, I'm throwing away my PlayStation. I'm never playing it again because other people have access to this game that I like.
Yeah.
I'm so mad.
Yeah, part of me gets it.
It should just be mine.
Part of me understands, but there's another part of me that is just so... it frustrates me to no end. You know what I mean? I'm just like... I don't even know how to put what I'm thinking into thought, because it's just... Or put what I'm thinking into...
Well, it's toxic because it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
In the end, you need a console to play games on, and that's the root of the argument, and saying that one shouldn't exist is a little annoying. It's just...
I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of rational people that feel like that are not like this, and so like obviously it's not everyone, but there is like I've seen this before, and so that's why it's like, ugh. Like why is the whole PC Master Race thing like? Why do people care? Why do you care? Ugh.
The internet needs to be filled with something, Brian.
I know. Fill it with...
It's like that and porn.
I'm fine with porn. Fill it with porn. Everyone become cam models. Whatever. Take nude photos of yourself. Make your own porn. But just stop arguing about useless garbage. Ugh.
You've heard it here first. You've heard it here. Deskpop. Everyone needs to be
pro sex work and anti console war.
Yeah, we're the hippies outside of the universities with the make love not war signs in front of the Reddit threads.
Yep, I guess so. But I also I'm also acutely aware that my yelling into the void saying these things doesn't mean anything and will not change those people that have those viewpoints, unfortunately. So just whatever.
Fucking centrist.
No,
I think both sides are wrong.
I don't think both sides are wrong. I think that there's definitely one side. The people that are so aggressive with their viewpoints are the ones that are wrong, no matter which camp they play for or whatever. The people that are right, in my mind, are the ones that just enjoy things and live their life without being bothered about other people living their own life, you know?
Sure.
But I am not a centrist, let me tell you. What's that? Another Easter egg?
Boing.
Boing.
Yeah. Also, just a quick, because I meant to mention this earlier, but maybe we should mention at the end. It doesn't matter. We have a YouTube channel.
We do.
Yeah, we've had one, but now it has things on it. So, yeah, in between these topics here, if you need something to do, while you're waiting for us to change topics, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of spam bots that are liking our content and commenting, wow, great content, I really like it. We didn't pay for these bots, and I'm not aware of who these people are, but it's the same guy, and then somebody else keeps commenting a link to a website, and I'm pretty sure it's porn.
And we are pro porn, so we will not take it down. We will leave it up.
Well, I want people to look at our channel and be like, oh, they have comments and likes, so I might check them out. So I don't want to delete them.
Our engagement.
But,
with spam accounts.
Business is business.
Business is business. So,
yeah, we're in the business
of misery. So let's take it from the top.
Yes. Great.
But yeah, so PS4 or PS5 controller, the DualSense. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only big thing I really had to say was the color.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say actually.
Yeah, I hope that it seems like they're still on track to releasing this year, which I find very strange. I would have thought that there's still time. I don't want it to happen.
I don't know.
I'm really banking on them postponing the launches of these consoles. I don't understand.
I don't know. That'll be curious. That'll be very curious. When is it set to launch this year? Do you know? At the end of the year?
I think November. Yeah.
Holiday season.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They usually launch mid to late November.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so
interesting.
We'll see how that goes.
In other video game news, I was about to just read what you had written, so I'll let you start it.
Yeah. So a little birdie told me that they're making Mario HD remasters for his 35th anniversary.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is this rumor is definitely not being talked about anymore now, because we were going to talk about it last week, but I talked about Resident Evil too long. We had to postpone it to now. But there was a rumor that was going around, and no one's really disproved it yet.
So it must be true.
So, but it's saying that Nintendo was planning on releasing a similar to the Crash Reignited trilogy or Spyro. That they're making a remake of all the Mario 3D platformers in HD. So Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1 and 2, and Super Mario 3D World. The big rumor is saying that either 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy 1 and 2 are going to be bundled together. And then Super Mario 3D World will be a separate thing and a deluxe version, similar to how they ported New Super Mario Bros. To the Switch and just slapped deluxe on the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big rumor, and another rumor is saying that they will all be sold separately, which I think is a little more. I think that's unlikely.
Oh, really?
And if so, I feel like they'd be sold separately on the eShop. I don't see physical releases, separate physical releases of each of these games.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that that's unlikely. And then the thing that's the nail in the coffin for this rumor for me is that it also said
so
that
the nail in the coffin in the good way, like you think it makes it true.
I think it makes it false.
Oh, okay, so you think it makes it false.
Is that they're working on a new Paper Mario game along the same vein as the first two. Okay. And every time a rumor has that in it, it's always wrong. Sure, every time. Sure. There's always they're making a Paper Mario and it's going to be like the first two. It's always wrong. People always say that, so the rumor will spread because everybody wants that.
Yeah.
And it never happens, so I don't think this rumor is real. We've never had a Mario remaster before except for, like, the port on the DS. So, like, we went from none to, like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, that's just a little weird that you go from none to 5 mainline remasters all together. And why wouldn't they announce it on Mario Day?
Yeah.
You know, what are they waiting for? So,
can I tell you what I think it is, or
Sure.
where I think this rumor stems from? I think that they are throwing the idea around, and I think someone who potentially does work there, either, you know, in talks of like, oh, well, maybe that's something we could do, or like maybe that would be a good thing for us to work on, or like people do want these things, and potentially took that information and you know, maybe spoke to someone else, and then it kind of started this like game of telephone that maybe it's not that these games are currently in production and currently like about to be released. Maybe it's just something that they are talking about doing, which I think is a lot more believable. But I think it would be silly of them not to do these things. I mean, honestly, with Super Mario 64, that would sell really well. And Super Mario Sunshine, you know what I mean? These things would sell really well. And I think just updating them graphically and making them look nicer, I mean, yeah, it's a whole... it is a lot of work, you know, for them to do it in a really positive way, the way like Resident Evil, you know, 2 is done, where they've completely redone the entire game. But these remasters, you know, I feel like it's feasible for them to release them. It's feasible for them to work on them. I think it's just a matter of like, we're not going to get them anytime soon. And yeah, I don't know about the Paper Mario thing. I think people in this game of telephone start to inject maybe their own wishes into what they hear or what is suspected, and I don't know if those things are always founded on truth. So
yeah, I think a lot of the big Nintendo rumors are always just like fantasy wish lists of what people want. Because I mean, I don't disagree that all these remasters would do well. People have been wanting them for a while.
Yeah,
but it's just. And I think that's pretty likely that they're thinking about it.
And I think the Switch is the right console for these things as well. That's kind of why I feel that way.
Because Nintendo, like, on one side, they've been remastering every Zelda game in a stylized way. Like, they've been doing that for forever.
Yeah.
Particularly, like, the standout one to me is the Wind Waker port is just amazing. I can't believe it's not on Switch yet. But the Wind Waker HD on the Wii U was like amazing.
And they've done remakes for Pokemon games, you know, stopping at Diamond and Pearl.
Except for the ones that are relevant to me, but yeah I totally But it's like Nintendo, like the same, like Nintendo as a core, like, 'cause like Game Freak is kind of in charge of that, but Nintendo, like those same people who are like putting off a Mario remaster are the same people who are like, oh, let's remaster this Zelda, let's do this one. So that's so weird to me that that's not happening.
I think maybe the thought process is that like a Mario game is like a much different concept than a Zelda game. Like I have a feeling like maybe their thought process is the newer Mario games are kind of not remakes of older ones, but they're taking the concepts further and further every time. So maybe they don't view it as necessary to remake older versions, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
Obviously, Super Mario Sunshine and Paper Mario are kind of whole different things, entities. But in terms of like most of the Mario platformers, like, you know, they all kind of, the next one in the series kind of elevates ideas the other one had, you know.
Sure, yeah. That's just the weird part. And I mean, the only thing that really adds legitimacy to this whole thing is the fact that this year is the 35th anniversary of Mario.
Can I tell you something that will add legitimacy as well?
What?
My uncle works at Nintendo, and he actually he told me these were true.
Ah.
He told me. I'm the one that leaked this information.
Man, you have 2 uncles that work at Nintendo?
I have 3.
Oh, 3.
3 uncles.
Are they all like blood related, or is it like,
yes,
are they a throuple? And so they're all 3 your uncles, but like one's like your actual uncle.
They're all my real uncles.
Oh, okay. It's a family business.
Uh-huh.
You get phone calls and they're like, Bryan, when are you gonna get into the family business?
Oh, you know, one day.
He's like, God, come on, Dad. I don't want to work at Nintendo. Like,
right now, I don't do it for the money.
Yeah. So Dana yelled at me for whenever we talked about getting Overwatch on Switch forever and a half ago.
Yeah.
She'd been trying to get me to get it on PlayStation 4.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, no, I don't want to. I already have it on PC. Why would I get it on PlayStation? And she was like, oh, but you can play it with me. And then she heard me say, oh, I'd get Overwatch on Switch when they first announced it. And she was like, why would you get it on Switch and not PlayStation? I was like, but I could play the Switch anywhere. Whenever I picked up the Walmart groceries, I added Overwatch to Switch to the shopping cart, and I wasn't gonna get it for myself, but I was gonna buy her a copy of Overwatch for her Switch Lite as like here's like something for you to kind of play on your Switch to pass the time, but then also like just to mess with her. And it would have been really funny, but they didn't. They said they were out of Overwatch for Switch at Walmart,
selling like hotcakes.
And I was just like, those fuckers didn't go to the game section and be like, oh, they didn't have it. I know full well that nobody, like, that's not a sold out port at the Walmart.
They're overworked.
Yeah.
Gotta cut them some slack.
Ugh.
Andy the boomer over here expecting his groceries and his games, and wants it all delivered in 10 minutes or less.
Why have it on the app? Like, I paid for it. I have to wait for my refund. I would have waited.
I know, but anyways,
they need, look, Bryan, they need to. No, I'm not even gonna joke about it.
These people are overworked. They're in danger of getting sick, and they're doing their best.
We'll draw the line at what's happening now.
Okay, great.
But everything else is fair game. So.
Yeah, is there anything that, like, obviously you would want a Paper Mario sequel, but is there anything else that you would want to see actually remastered?
I would love, even if it wasn't a remaster, just a port of the first 2 or the first 3 Paper Mario games on Switch. I'd love to be able to go back and revisit those on Switch.
Okay.
This rumor like really messes with me because every remaster I'd want is right here in this rumor. Like, I really want a Sunshine remaster, and so that's specified there. And then just the Paper Mario games. There's not like a lot of other games that haven't been ported to modern systems.
There's one.
Maybe Kirby Air Ride. I love Kirby Air Ride.
Yeah, Kirby Air Ride would be good. But I have another that I need, Andy. We've had the technology for years. I need a new Pokemon Snap. The Switch would be so good to play Pokemon Snap on. The Wii U would have been great. The fucking 3DS would have been great. Why do we not have Pokemon Snap?
Well, when Nintendo designs a new platform, they're like, would this be a good... Let's make a system specially designed for Pokemon Snap and then never make the game for it.
It is such a good game. Ugh. The concept is great.
there's a fan-made sequel to Pokemon Snap, and they couldn't use Pokemon, so they put different types of dogs in there. So it's a cute game where you're like on this like, you go to like the beach and you have to take, and there's like lots of different dogs and you have to take pictures of.
That's fun.
And it's kind of cute. I think the director of the game was like, yeah, like we made Pokemon Snap because photography was like really mainstream and popular back then, but like since it's not popular anymore, we're not.
What do you mean?
No one was gonna care.
Everyone has a fucking camera on their damn phone. If not more. There are more photos taken per day now than there have been in the history of time. I guarantee it.
Yeah, the ultimate slap in the face was in what was it, X and Y, or was it Sun and Moon, that they added the photography mode.
I don't remember.
But they added that, and I was like, oh, like you, like that was just like this ultimate tease. It's like they knew good and well when they added a photography mode to the game that they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't like an entirely new game, if they have in like another DLC for Pokemon, like Sword and Shield or something, and they add in like a photo safari or something like that, I would lose my mind. That would be so great, you know?
Why did we get like that? And it might be a harsh word. I haven't played it, and I probably won't because but we got like that shitty Mystery Dungeon remake. Yeah, and like it looked like they put zero work into that thing, and
it looked nicer, but the style is so close to the original that it's hard to say that it looks like better.
Well, it's like if I had to choose between that port and then like the sprites of like the Game Boy version, I'd choose the Game Boy version because the sprites look nice and it has its own style.
Sure.
Whereas this, they kind of strip that style from it, and you can kind of tell that they had a concept in mind, but it wasn't pushed far enough to make it superior than just playing the original sprites.
Yeah.
Because something's like charming about seeing like
they should have just made it look like a Link's Awakening where they're all like toys. That would have been cute.
I would have loved that. Yeah. That would have been great. But instead we got this. Why aren't we getting Pokemon Snap?
You know what? I'm going to snap. I'm going to be on Oxygen Channel's TV show, Snapped. And I'm going to be real mad at my three uncles that work in Nintendo that aren't pushing for Pokemon Snap to be remade.
You need to ask them for Pokemon Snap 2 for Christmas. I remember every time I sat in Santa's lap when I was a kid, my parents had always, like, I don't know if they pushed me to, but I always felt compelled to write a list of what I wanted to give Santa. That was like, so I would always write down games that didn't exist so that I could trick him into making the game.
Oh, that's
so then I would get it for Christmas.
Yeah, did it ever work?
No. I would always, like, for years, I remember always writing down like Super Smash Brothers 3, Super Smash Brothers 4, like whichever was like the one that had yet to come out that did not exist.
So it did
I would always write it down.
It did work. It just took him a little bit to
crunch time. Yeah. Because I remember I asked for Super Smash Brothers Brawl, like, I think way before it came out. I think that it had been announced, but it wasn't out yet. But I asked for it, and he was like, "Yeah." And that fucker lied to me. I didn't get it until my mom bought me that game when it came out, 2008.
I feel like that would be such a dangerous game to play a mall Santa and like make promises you can't like.
Yeah, he's lying to so many kids.
Like, all I want is my. I don't know. I was about to say something awful.
I want my parents to come back from the dead for one day. Okay.
Santa the Necromancer bringing people back.
Yeah. Hey, Santa, can you kill my parents? They're not the same since you brought them back.
Sure, a soul for a soul.
Santa's like, I give, but I don't take away. You must live with your choices. Gives them a shovel and a pistol for the next year for Christmas.
Oh man,
I'm teaching you responsibility.
Clean up your own mess.
Anyways, so maybe you should try doing that. Ask Santa for Pokemon Snap 2.
I'll try it.
Yeah. That's good. Let me know how it turns out.
I will.
But yeah, I used to ask Santa for things that didn't exist like all the time.
Well, that's fun. I don't think I ever I barely even wrote lists. I think I might have I wrote them to my
magical
parents.
Person who gives you anything you want like one night a year.
It's one of those things where it's like, I think I was never tricked into believing in Santa. Like, I never had a feeling that he was real. I've always been a skeptical person, and as a child, I was always skeptical as well. And so
5-year-old Bryan.
Yeah, I don't believe
I'm a free
that.
thinker.
I don't believe that nonsense. And so, I don't know. I was always like,
Wake up, sheeple.
Wake up, sheeple. Santa doesn't exist. I'm standing on a desk in kindergarten,
No, it's during recess and you actually get like a soapbox and you're like, here, come listen to the truth.
You've been lied to by your parents.
Parents.
I don't know. I've never...
Your parents aren't real.
I've never bought into it. I also and you know this about me. I'm not a fan of Christmas. I don't like it.
You're not a what?
A fan of Christmas.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
I don't like getting free gifts.
It's not that I actually don't enjoy getting gifts, but no, it's not even that. It just, I don't know. There's nothing special about it to me. Hearing Christmas music for, borderline 2 months out of the year is exhausting to me. I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm not a Christmas person, and I don't mind when people, call me Scrooge or whatever, that's always the default response, but it's just whatever. It's the same thing of not liking a certain console. This isn't my holiday. You know what I mean? There are other holidays I really enjoy, but this just isn't it. So, I don't know.
I'll just have to like Christmas for the both of us.
I think you already do, bud.
Yeah, I was listening to Christmas music a couple days ago. So.
Sure.
One of my favorite things to do is listen to Christmas piano lounge music.
God, you're the worst. You're just literally the worst.
I have Christmas scented candles in I guess now Dana's bathroom. She's taken over one of the bathrooms, but I have a Christmas candle in there.
There's not a single holiday that I want to hear music from. There's not a single one.
Well, I mean, there's only 2 holidays that have music, right?
Halloween and Christmas?
Maybe Halloween.
Okay. Christmas and maybe Halloween. I guess that's true. But I mean, there's not a desire to hear music from any other, holiday. I don't...
Man, I really want to listen to music based off of...
I would argue Easter
Where's the St. Patrick's Day?
Easter music is probably a thing. You know what I mean? There's probably, songs...
Well, I'm sure... there's religious.
Yeah,
I feel like any Easter music is going to be heavily religious, whereas Christmas, I feel like a huge portion of the market is the commercialized version for everybody, and then there's the small sliver of Christmas music that is strictly for those who are religious.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just not my thing. Not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of joe.
I guess Valentine's Day would probably be the one that has the most music.
On a technicality. Because it's talking
sure.
about love and not necessarily...
I mean, love could also be scary, so that's Halloween right there. But love is also a gift.
Love is a
Christmas.
gift. I don't know.
Love is a gift. Don't you forget it.
Yeah, I think aesthetic-wise, my favorite holiday is probably... Easter is probably pretty high up there. Easter and New Year's are aesthetically... And I'm not religious at all, so I know that may sound very strange, but...
No, I'm like Captain Christmas, and I'm not...
Yeah.
So...
it's just the color palette is everything. The, pastels. And then...
You're also a huge fan of Peeps.
I'm a huge fan of Peeps. That's something I'm excited for. And then also just, I don't know. The idea of the holiday itself being being about obviously about very religious connotations, but the whole like activity of hiding eggs and doing like a hunt to find Easter eggs is like, oh, that's so good. And like painting eggs and like everything about it is so good.
When I think of Easter, I always just think of brunch because
I
think
wonderful. Yeah.
This is like the first Easter. I think this is the first Easter in the last 10, 15 years that my family has not gone to the Moody Gardens breakfast, but we're always notoriously late, so it always turns into brunch. And then we all go home and then we sleep for the rest of the day. But
yeah, I wanted to go to Bunnies
like
on the Bayou
brunch
this year.
and Easter,
yeah,
they're both directly correlated to me. Like I think of Easter, I think of mimosas, I think of brunch. I think of my dad always puts like a bunch of cash in the Easter eggs to get me and my sister to look for them. But my sister always like finds them all, and I like never like I don't know what it is because I'm pretty decent at finding hidden things in any other context, but finding plastic eggs, like my brain doesn't work that way, so I never find them. So my dad always just gives me like a secret like
he gives you hush money.
Yeah, he gives me hush money to like keep my sister in the simulation, not to wake her up.
Oh well. Hope you guys had a happy Easter and enjoyed spending the week after with us.
Yep.
All right, well, make sure to, follow us, subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you listen to, like it, comment it, subscribe it, leave a review.
If you have any ideas for suggestions to the podcast of topics or whatever, email us at deskpopcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And check out our YouTube channel because there's exclusive animated content there.
Animated content. Wow.
Animated snippets.
If you subscribe to our Patreon, we will give you Polaroids of ourselves nude. So please do that.
If you type in Deskpopcast, no spaces on YouTube, we are exclusively the only result in the search bar.
Yeah, so if you type in Deskporncast, that's where you can find our nudes.
I didn't type that in on the tag, so you might.
It's just a website.
Like the 6th result.
That's just our nudes.
Type in Andy and Bryan nudes at deskpop.com. And that's the website that we made in Squarespace.
Yep. All right.
What was that? Okay. Yeah, we gotta
wrap it up.
We gotta go. We have a really busy day, so we
gotta take more nudes for our Patreon.
Our fans only.
Our only fans.
Only fans.
Right.
Oh, look at me. Okay.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right, now I'm going to do a little boing, little eggs, boing, boing. Here's all the eggs, boing. Wow, boing, they're all at the end. Oh, no, boing.
Oh, shit, he dropped the basket. They're going everywhere.
No, boing, 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 boing.
Boing.